So, are we doing Superman, Afterparty, and Justified for dessert?
Man, it sounds
Yeah,
like a lot of desserts, but yeah, I watched all those.
that's a lot of dessert. But sure,
It's
yeah,
a
I
lot.
watched all
It's a
those.
lot of dessert. I mean, we don't have to, but
Let's eat our vegetables. We got Lioness, and then
yeah,
ketchup's a vegetable, right?
yeah,
We
sure.
got
That's Harley Quinn.
well that's Twisted Metal then.
Twisted Metal.
Somehow you got them to count napkins as a vegetable, but they're made of plants.
Episode 446 of the TV Dudes, recorded August 2nd, 2023. Twisted Metal. This week, we're talking about Twisted Metal on Peacock, Lioness on Paramount Plus, and the return of Harley Quinn on Max. Plus, we've got My Adventure with Superman, Afterparty, and Justified City Primeval for a whole lot of desserts. Before we get to all that, I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
And I'm Nick, introducing our special guest, Harold the Paper Bag. Harold! Well said, Harold.
And we're the TV Dudes. I don't know what you're talking about. That must be something from Twisted Metal that happens later.
No, the bag, that Sweet Tooth's bag? You've seen that. That's episode 2.
I guess it didn't make an impression.
What? Harold's
Yeah.
a great background gag.
We'll talk about it. I have had a very different reaction to Twisted Metal than seemingly everyone else on the internet. So yeah, let's kick things off with our appetizers, our TV diaries, if you will.
The Diaries of the Television Dudes. Brought to you by only the finest cocaine wine.
Nick, do you want to go?
Oh, I didn't really watch anything this week that Les hasn't
What?
really covered. Well, I shouldn't say that. Watched anything really new. I rewatched some Harley Quinn before we did some of the new episodes.
Yeah.
Mostly just not all of it, just most of season 3, I think. And noticed that they've kind of ditched one of the things in the Valentine's Day special. I thought they gave Bane like a new girlfriend, but they kind of ditched that in the show. We'll talk about it, but kind of Nora Freeze seems to be his new chick he's chasing. I wonder if they're gonna bring back his dominatrix girlfriend though, because I kind of thought
Yeah.
because I liked their chemistry together, and I kind of liked giving Bane a win, because
Yeah.
Bane is like.
Well, and Nora's definitely just using him and is, I think, going to hook up with Captain Cold, it looks like.
Hey, Captain Cold, nice to meet you. Ooh.
She's got a type.
Yeah.
That girl frigid.
Oh boy, hopefully she never meets Icicle Jr. I don't know if he's legal.
Oh.
Guess it depends on the continuity.
There's a lot of ice themed villains for her to bang. I'm just saying. Like that's
I mean,
if you're gonna be into something in the DC universe, that's a good thing to be into.
I think
Yeah.
maybe it's just the puns or that are readily
She's into
available, or
puns.
maybe someone decided that ice powers are easy to draw in the 80s or something. Like
Yeah.
I would love to see what the origin
Is there an ice themed swiping app? Because they're definitely not on Tinder.
Because like that's always I'll get a kick out of like, hey, why is the Hulk green? Because gray was a bitch to print on.
Yeah. I mean,
why are his shorts purple? Because they contrast easier with his green. Like,
yeah. Off the top of my head, I'm just DC. It's like Mr. Freeze, Captain Cold, and Icicle.
Icicle Jr.
And Ice
Yeah.
Jr.
There's definitely a couple
like,
more cold villains.
There's definitely more.
Oh well, there's Killer Frost. Where let's not
Killer Frost.
let's not be misogynistic about it. Women can be ice villains too.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you're right. Lean in.
Does Snowfire doesn't actually have snow-based
No,
villains, he's just cocaine powered.
he's got cocaine powers,
powered.
I think.
By the way,
Snow does
Snowflame.
not mean that in his
Snowflame.
Snowflame.
I don't know that I'd heard of him before. That's so obscure he is. He turned up in the Peacemaker comic this week, and it was perfect timing.
Oh, that's amazing. I only knew about him because of those occasional 5 DC villains you can't believe or 5 DC characters you can't believe are real.
Yeah.
I assume he was created in the 80s.
Yeah. Power sets, DC regrets, kind of shit.
All right, so Harley Quinn. Anything else, Nick?
The only other major thing is I watched a great documentary on Shudder called Sharksploitation.
Okay.
That went through the rise and fall of shark movies and how different time periods and their different level of exposure and how the different rules for different eras of shark movies. They even go back to before Jaws. There was shark movies before Jaws, which sharks were more revered as they were like ancient gods in a lot of like black and white movies for like that the indigenous people of those black white movies would worship. So problematic in their own right. But
was there really a fall for shark movies? Because I can think of lots of rises. There's you got Jaws, you got Great Blue Sea, you got the Meg.
It's interesting. They show a timeline as the shark thing ebbs and flows, and there is a point right at like after Jaws 3 and before Deep Blue Sea where they go almost kind of like they're still around, but they're kind of underground. They're like not taken very seriously. Like they're very just run of the mill. Like a Sci-Fi Channel started to make some lower budget shit,
but not the crazy fun.
But not the crazy fun ones. Like not
Sharknado. Yeah.
Not any of that.
They're just kind of it's like they weren't bold. They didn't want to go bug shit crazy, and so they're just making terrible Jaws ripoffs.
Yeah.
Trying to outdo one another, and
yeah, and then Deep Blue Sea comes out, and then suddenly it was Deep Blue Sea, Anaconda, and Ghosts in the Darkness came out in like the same year, and Creature Features came back into prominence in like 2006-ish, I think I want to say. And how it went from that to the Sharknado boom, and then to even.
What was the one they threatened Lloyd Kaufman with?
No,
not Lloyd Kaufman.
Roger Corman. Roger Corman.
Roger Corman.
So the head guy behind Sci-Fi that was making these sharks movies calls up Roger Corman and says he's got a script for him that he says like, well, I feel like the only one guy can make Sharktopus, and that's Roger Corman. And Roger Corman said, okay, so your title is Sharktopus. I have a theory that you can only take the audience so far. This is Roger Corman, by the way. Roger Corman is saying that I don't think an audience will accept a shark that's also an octopus. And he said, oh, well, that's fine. We're talking to, who did he threaten him with again? Like
the Asylum.
The Asylum.
He's like, I'll just call so-and-so at the Asylum.
That's all right. That's all right, Roger. And he was like, and I knew that as soon as I said the word Asylum, Roger would not let that happen. And then Roger Corman goes,
a long
whoa,
pause.
Hey, wait, let's not get crazy. Let's at least talk about this. And that's how Roger Corman made Sharktopus.
Yeah, it is a weird documentary of just like this odd vein that kind of overtook it, like became its, but thanks to Jaws and a little bit before, kind of became its own genre in weird creature feature horror.
And how devastating it was to shark communities after Jaws came out. Of like, there is a sad element. Yeah. The marine biologists they have, because they're interviewing like horror icons, shark movie directors and stuff like that. And then they have one marine biologist whose entire job is to fucking be a party pooper.
Oh man, the Neil deGrasse Tyson of the whole documentary. Every time they cut to him, he's like, and no sharks do that. And please don't kill sharks for doing that.
And this movie killed that many sharks. Why do we keep cutting to him? He's such a buzzkill.
The guy that wrote Jaws, I think Peter Blakely, the guy that wrote the novel of Jaws,
he
basically spent the rest of his life working for shark
conservation. Like he tried
conservation
because he realized what his fucking, well, not his movie. I mean, he wrote the book for it or whatever, but still, like what it did to sharks, and he felt responsible. And I thought that was, wow, I did not know that about him.
Didn't mean to actually get the entire global village to light torches against sharks.
I mean, he wanted to make a fun, like he wanted to make a fun, scary thing, and he wanted to use a real world thing, a monster, and it was like it was not malicious on his part. Of like, he wasn't looking to like kill hundreds of thousands of sharks. It just, he thought sharks were a cool thing. He liked the idea of monsters you couldn't see, of like something that was coming to get you.
The one spot where the whole, like, it wasn't just that one lone nerd, where like everyone in the documentary that they could interview were annoyed. Discovery Channel, I think, did a Megalodon.
A fake Megalodon documentary. And it's like watching Blair Witch come out the first time. Like it's on Discovery. It looks like it is like there are no Megalodons a lot. Like, it is completely fake.
And it's one of those where like when asked about it, Discovery's like, well, yeah, obviously. I'm like, no, guys, not obviously. And like literally to like every person they interviewed, you could see them like that.
To the point where they don't even like the Jason Statham movie, The Meg. They don't like because it reminds them of that fucking it's like a fucking documentary.
Yeah, where like you could tell the Meg would just be a movie, but they like it. They're like, oh yeah, no, because
they didn't even
the
like
Meg,
the fucking
Discovery
name
got hot about
Megalodon. They got PTSD off of this fucking. It's like the marine biologist.
So
like I
Shudder,
still get
right?
questions about it. That was on Shudder. Yeah, it was very
worth
good.
Watching.
Yeah, even if you don't like the show, I feel like it's an interesting to see the zeitgeist of shark movies and kind of why they're
especially
persistent.
because through the levels they really are one-upping each other in sheer absurdity.
Yeah,
and so like it literally tracks this craziness curve that goes straight up from Jaws
they go through
to Sharknado.
How Asylum, or was it Sci-Fi, made movies, and it's exactly how you think.
Yeah, it's just sci-fi.
Like,
yeah,
because they put words on together and they combine words to make titles, and then they make
like
a movie.
Refrigerator magnet poetry. Like they make a title. It's basically how Full Moon operates. Where like Charles Band called in a director and was like, I have a title for a movie called Castle Freak, make it. And that's how Castle Freak happened. Well, that's how almost every what's a shark, eel, sharktopus. Yeah, no, what can sharktopus fight? Sharktopus
I got a whale
versus
crab.
Megaconda. Is that a thing? Are we okay? Yeah, like you can just see them work it out. Like it's
no, someone get me my suffix board.
Also, Sharknado was one of like a dozen movies those guys shit out that year, and they were like, we really didn't think Sharknado was that much weirder than anything else we did.
Like they said, like we didn't know why we've made a bunch of Sharknados before, like not Sharknados, but like Sharktopus, fucking like all these B movies that was just the one that hit.
Shark Attack.
It was Twitter came around the same time, and it was a
perfect storm, dare I say. X, I guess it is now. So outside of that, I rewatched all of the Minx with Lisa, and that show's just charming as fuck.
Yeah.
Joyce, I feel like similar to like Twisted Metal or anything else, like how much the main character clicks for you definitely makes her like on rewatch, knowing that I like Joyce knowing that I will come to like Joyce better.
Yeah.
Helps a lot.
Yeah.
Also, in the last couple of episodes in season 1, like going into I think the opening of season 2, before they're back together on the company, watching Doug just destroy it.
Yeah.
And realizing that like, oh yeah, no, you can get something that will get on a newsstand. Like you will get out a magazine.
Yeah.
But you have nothing. And worse than that, you can't hand in one of your magazines to this audience now.
I think that maybe the secret of why Minx works in season 2 for me is that those couple episodes where you see, oh, Doug does need Joyce. Like he's the charming character. We all like him, and she seems like the wet blanket at all times.
You could
but then you realize,
an episode or two of that, because otherwise does feel one-sided.
They probably should have done it earlier. Like I definitely think they should have done it earlier.
But that said, I love that season 2. I mean, like honestly, if it were just Joyce's story, the second episode of season 2, you could that could have been the series finale.
I didn't get a chance to watch that yet.
Oh shit.
Because we share an Apple TV queue, sometimes you guys will watch stuff.
Oh.
And it'll go off my queue.
Damn it.
And then I forget about it until I remember until I like go back and look. So if y'all are watching stuff before I did that happened to
well, no, that one's on Stars, but
but we watch it through the Apple TV queue somehow.
No, I watch it through the Stars.
Yeah,
weird.
We have it with the Stars app with the login from.
That's weird. It should have popped on my Apple queue. It must have just not popped.
Oh, okay.
Weird. But yeah, it ends with Joyce in a position where I feel like she could be challenged on her shit and stand up for it. Like it ends with her looking like she's made a proactive choice to run this magazine.
Good.
Not a magazine that she wanted it to be in 7th grade, but like Minx, not the Matriarchy. It looks like she's ready to run Minx, not the Matriarchy Awakens.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that second episode. I wasn't until Today
Elizabeth
I was
Perkins
thinking,
also they have a great moment of like Elizabeth Perkins a little bit seeing Doug's use, which she didn't know initially, and kind of having a moment of like do we need him? Okay, but keep an eye on him. But all right, I see it. Uh, and like it really has set up that all of the real story in season 2, I feel like is going to be everybody like we're really going to get Bambi's arc. We're really going to get Tina's arc.
good. Yeah.
Like I really feel like we're going to see Rich like all the side characters in season 2 really more, which is great. Also, every single thing out of Bambi's mouth is terrifying. Every time she says anything about her past, it's just crazier and crazier. Yeah, I lived in the Hollywood Hills for a while. Or no, oh yeah, I went to a party at the Hollywood Hills and stayed for a year one time, and then the murders started. And like Richie Leans like the Manson murders, no, different ones. Like that, that makes that story worse, right, baby?
Yep. Yeah, that's great.
My heart's thumping faster than the butter churn at Spawn Ranch. Like,
What?
yeah, Mao Zedong taught me that. Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Bambi, come back. No, I'm off doing another thing. Can't explain that. Bye.
Yep. She's great. So watch that. Watch the after party. Lisa caught back up on Yellow Jackets, which caught me up on Yellow Jackets. I'm not completely done with season 2, but definitely further along than I was. That show's insane. And yeah, it dropped off my radar, and I definitely want to finish it out before I lose track of it in the sea of other shows starting up. Well, we may have a gap of that.
Yeah.
Went and saw Talk to Me, which Randy and I will discuss in Patreon.
Yep.
Really fun. And we'll talk about Parks and Rec. Of course, Harley Quinn is back. I watched Lioness, I watched Special Ops: Lioness.
Special Ops are, yeah, okay. Yeah,
it's
you know why?
terrible.
There's some other show called Lioness. And
is that why? I was like, man, are they trying to franchise this? Because they took a cool.
It launched in 2021. It was on Prime. I can't tell where it was. Nobody notable is in it. But they must have like gotten word of like, oh, there's already a show called Lioness, and it maybe it's still on.
I can't believe they lost that fight. That sucks. Because Lioness is kind of a cool show title, and fits this show. And Special Ops: Lioness.
Yeah,
just sounds like my brain immediately tries to forget it. Like I just want to glance over it. Anyway, we'll discuss the episodes, which were better than the title. Twisted Metal, Elementary. I watched 22 Jump Street, which
I need to watch that. I've never seen the sequel.
Oh, have you not? It's exactly the first movie. Like they keep bagging on that. In fact,
I should rewatch 21 Jump Street first. I've only seen it the one time, and it was a lot of fun. So
they have a running gag that they're investigating the exact same crime plot from the first movie, and like they keep desperately wanting it to not be, and like trying to argue for clues that like aren't just like no, guys, it's the same thing as last time. Just fucking do it. Yeah, really enjoy. I mean, I really enjoy 22 Jump Street. Obviously, there's no in between. I'm pretty sure you either think that 21 Jump Street was funny or you didn't. And you'll probably enjoy 22 Jump Street if you thought the first one was funny. Also watched the first half of White House Down, which I forgot. I enjoy that movie. I'd forgotten that White House doesn't have the attack until like 35 minutes and 40 minutes into that movie.
This is my continuing crusade against Gerard Butler. I haven't seen
no, that's Olympus. This is Jamie Foxx and Tatum.
Oh, okay, all right. That's right.
And Joey King, the improbably named Joey King.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Then Nick and I saw TMNT Mutant Mayhem, which I think Key and I will discuss next week on Patreon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that one out.
I've continued to watch Futurama, which are more Futurama episodes.
Yeah.
And then What We Do in the Shadows, which continues to be excellent. Colin Robinson runs for office and tries to get back with his ex, and
I'm a week behind on What We Do in the Shadows. It's really fun. I didn't get a chance.
The Energy Vampire Council is amazing.
Oh, that sounds great.
And that's about it for me.
For me, I am still watching Parks and Rec as well. I'm midway through season or the early parts of season 5, which I feel like season 4 was the Leslie Gets Elected season, and it is maybe the peak of the show because season 5 is really good, but it feels like they're fumbling a little bit. Andy's trying to become a police officer. Ben is like running a White House, a Senate campaign or some kind of campaign in Washington. Everybody's split up. Tom is starting up Rent a Swag. There's a lot of like things moving around, but nothing that's like, oh, this is like definitive Parks and Rec stuff.
That season has like introduces a lot of great characters and
Mhm.
has a lot of great bits, but
Yeah.
yeah, the episodes are all disjointed because everybody's
Like-
split up. The
like
band is
Count-
everywhere.
Councilman Jam just got introduced. Diane, Ron's eventual fiance, gets
Yep.
introduced. Like, there's a
John
lot of-
Raffio's sister.
John, no,
Mona
she's not yet.
Lisa.
I haven't
Is she
seen
not?
her
Is
yet,
she not
but-
in there?
but-
Oh no,
but
because
she'll-
she's later when Rena Swag's established.
but
Yeah.
she will show up. And so I feel like season 5 is the rebuild season. It's almost like it does feel like Parks and Rec almost got canceled every season.
Yeah.
And I think they were always rebuilding of like, well, shit, what do we do now?
Right. Like, well, we burned all. Like, does anybody have any ideas? Like, no, it's just like flies coming out of the drawers.
Yeah, like we burned all the story. What do we do?
You think that's where Mark Schur learned his aggressive style of storytelling of like
I think that it's entirely possible that's where Sure learned to do what he did. Yes.
like treating every season like your last season, like just fucking
Mhm.
just no go.
I think it is entirely possible
Like-
because it wasn't just him, but yeah.
we talk about it like it's a brilliant writing choice,
Yeah.
but really it's this like gun shy
But maybe
flinch.
It's
that Mike
anxiety.
maybe
has
it's
of,
been
like-
trained
It's just
into
anxiety.
him, but like
Right? Like if like I just came
Like-
from a funeral. Yeah, man, loosen your tie. If Mike sees you in a suit with the tie up, he's just gonna flip out. Like anytime a studio guy shows up,
Oh great, now we've
Well,
lost
guess what?
Mike for a day. Thanks guys.
Yeah, he just wrote 3 endings. He just wrote 3 endings.
God damn it.
Thanks a lot. I had my friend over who had not seen Ted Lasso. She came over for Ted Lasso season 1 a couple weeks ago. We burned through most of season 2. She didn't realize it was actually like 12 episodes. I forgot. Ted Lasso season 2 is not the same binge as Ted Lasso season 1. It's 12 episodes,
it's-
and they start getting a little longer. And I realized watching, like going through that, I'm like, oh, when we do season 3, we're going to break that into 2 days. Like it's not doable in one day unless you just like do the whole day.
Yeah.
But she really liked it. I'm enjoying this is my first rewatch of season 2 since seeing season 3, and they thread some shit in there that I didn't catch. So like, there's a bit where when they're talking about banter in the locker room, where they're talking about revealing banter,
Mhm.
and Colin goes like Grinder, and everybody else looks at him,
Oh
and I'm like,
yes.
holy shit!
Yeah, yeah. Damn it,
Like,
that's good.
that wasn't just a gag. They
Yeah.
were telling us that Colin was gay that early. And there's something similar happens with with Trent Krim when he goes to talk to Ted about his anxiety attack. He doesn't know it's an anxiety attack yet. He does the interview with him at the pub. He is leaving with a guy who's very clearly his boyfriend.
I was gonna say like there was definitely I couldn't remember what it was, but I'm like when Trent and Colin have that talk, and I was like, I don't know why Trent always read to me as gay. I feel like
But I feel like Trent might be gay.
You know,
yeah,
Nick and
yeah,
I had that talk of like,
yeah.
why
why do I think
was
that?
I already sure that Trent's gay?
Because they laid in.
Yeah.
They were laying it in for us. the
Yeah,
whole time.
like that.
Like,
Because I'm like, oh shit, there
Everybody
was a
talks-
scene early. I bet that like yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get off a rant again about how wrong the internet is about Ted Lasso, but just a reminder,
about
a reminder
season
for
3.
everyone that.
Randy, you
But,
haven't hit the bad season yet.
But the thing is, like, as I look at it, everyone's like season 3 is where they lost their way. It is very clear to me they knew exactly what they were doing the whole time.
Well, I mean, they're
Like,
doing a lot
maybe
of
not
setup that they only
everything,
pay
but-
off in season 3. So
Yeah.
like
So it is very clear to me they knew the broad strokes of what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were going to do. I finished out The Good Fight, which I quite enjoyed. It ends similarly the way it begins with something about Donald Trump that just ruins everything. But yeah, that show got bonkers at the end, and I'm glad I finished it out. And I can't wait for the Elspeth spinoff.
Oh man, I can't
Well,
wait either. I
I was
the
glad
only
she
thing
showed
that
up
could
again.
make Elspeth better would be if Sarah Steele, is that her name?
Is that Marissa?
Yeah, Marissa Gold.
mhm.
Like the only thing that
Oh.
could make it better is if Marissa Gold is her investigator.
That would be amazing.
That would be my dream show.
I'd settle for Jay, but honestly, yeah, Marissa as her investigator and like co-counsel would be fantastic. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but I'll definitely watch it. At
Yeah,
some
I mean,
point,
I-
I'll go back and watch Good Wife too.
Yeah, I can't wait for Elspeth.
Finished up Hijack, last 2 episodes. Episode 6 has some bonkers shit that happens, and then episode 7 they have to bring this entire thing in for a landing, no pun intended, and I don't think they quite managed it,
Mm,
but it is interesting.
okay.
It's a good show. I don't know if I'm happy about, with things like this. You look back at like 24, and there was always a bit of like, wait, if I squint at this, it all falls apart. And there's
Mhm.
unfortunately still a little bit of that with Hijack, where I'm like, I don't know if this makes sense as a terrorist plot. But
Yeah.
but the moment to moment is so good that I'm willing to forgive a sort of shaky ending.
So they don't try and sneak a season 2, like,
They could do a season 2, but I don't feel like they're planning
okay.
on it. Watch the latest Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, which is a wartime episode that reveals the backstory of Dr. Mabenga and Nurse Chapel and why they had those combat drugs. And in so doing, makes that episode make a lot more sense. And it's actually just a great Deep Space Nine Echo type episode. Like it is very much like this is what the Federation looks like at war. They're basically showing like they have a transporter where they bring in casualties, and it's kind of like MASH where the helicopters would come in, but it's
Hmm.
like constantly one of the transporter is like constantly like incoming transport, and it's basically telling you, hey, there's gonna be a bunch of people you got to patch up right now,
Yeah.
and it's a really good episode, and it also deals with there's a guy, a Klingon known as the Butcher of Jagal, who
Well, he sounds fun.
He interacted with him because he was a former special ops guy before he was a doctor, and they sort of dragged him back into it. And so this Klingon now comes aboard, it's played by Robert Wisdom, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he is he's a pacifist ambassador for the Federation to the
Well,
Klingons,
that's a
and
fucking turnaround.
and, like Mabenga wants no part. Like all these people who like Mabenga and Chapel
Who
directly interfaced with
knew
him,
him? Yeah.
and Ortega is like a war hero. So none of them they all have to sit at a dinner with this guy and pretend they're okay with him, and they all hate him and they all want him to die. And
Yeah.
it's a fascinating episode. It was really really good. Next week is the musical episode, which I'm super excited for. So yeah, Star Trek New World, Strange New Worlds had a bit of a clunk early on in season 2, but it's definitely come on strong last few episodes.
I kind of like that. Of like normally in Star Trek we just switch over to like when the war is over. Like Worf is just already kind of like assimilated into
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Federation. So like seeing
Yeah.
the actual tension of like of working with people that fucking killed a lot of your friends probably.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they definitely deal with sort of the PTSD of war and the whole notion of like Starfleet being a military operation when really a lot of these people just want to be scientists and explorers.
Right.
So it was really good. I most of what else I watched was the homework. I did catch about 2/3 of Good Omens season 2, which I don't love as much as a lot of my friends love, but I did really enjoy season 2. I actually think it might be better than season 1, and it does feature John Hamm playing an amnesiac Gabriel in a when John Hamm's being funny, it really works, and
Yeah.
John Hamm is being very funny.
Oh wow, that's really yeah.
I think that definitely is the secret ingredient.
He was a very small role in season 1. I don't remember being in a lot of it.
No, he's definitely got a bigger role here.
Okay.
And then just on a whim, partly because of the Harley Quinn cartoon, partly because of Barbie, I rewatched Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey, and was again reminded how good that movie is, and what a shame it is we're never going to get a sequel to it because they were set up for it, and they're never going to do it.
Sequel to which movie that movie is due. Like that movie is setting up 6 sequels though.
Yeah, that's true. I honestly I just wanted the Birds of Prey. I wanted that one. I didn't need more Harley Quinn. I would be happy with just the Birds of Prey
Okay.
that they set up at the end. But I don't think we're never going to get
No,
that.
they're
which is
they're
too
not the
bad.
draw. Like they're not the draw that you will get more Harley Quinn. I can guarantee that.
I don't know if you will. I think
Margot Robbie might be done. on that.
Yeah, she's done.
Is she?
Yeah, she's moved on. She's not
Okay.
gonna do Harley again.
Yeah, she loves Harley, but I don't think she wants to play it anymore.
I thought
Yeah, I don't see her
I thought the only deal breaker was that they wouldn't let her do a like romance with Poison Ivy, and I thought Gunn would be like on board for that.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see her
that might
going
drive
back to it.
No, I remember hearing at some point though that she was like, yeah, no, that I on the one hand love this character, but similar to James Bond movies, like I don't want to only play Harley Quinn for the rest of my career.
Yeah.
Which is weird since she hasn't she's played her in one movie that was all about her, and as a side character in 2 other movies.
Yeah. But she could get
And yet
pigeonholed.
and yet she's like the face of the DC Universe branding of like the only thing that's worked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, her and Gal Gadot, who
used to.
Gunn and Safran are now saying that Gal Gadot came out and said that she's talking to Gunn and Safran about developing Wonder Woman 3. I don't know how much I believe that,
no,
but
no.
We can change off.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
man, that Shazam appearance was bad.
Oh man.
I can guarantee you that no one's going to be upset when they have to recast Wonder Woman or fucking whatever they got to do with that.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 84 was a mess, guys. Like
it was.
I know that we all,
real bad.
and thankfully so, we all came and we all forgot about it. But
Yeah.
let's remember for a second that Jesus Christ, it wasn't just Snyder. That whole universe had a fucking problem.
That's true. All right. Good reminder, you can support us by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us a buck an episode. In exchange, we get to keep other streaming services, pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. This week, we're talking about an Australian horror movie called Talk to Me. And all right, let's have let's get into our main course. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's talk Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
So I never played this game. I mean, that's unsurprising to anybody to listen to me bitch about video games, but I've never played this game. I did recognize.
Was it a stand-up arcade? Then I didn't play it. I'm less and old.
Yes. Yes, the last game I played was the one where you slide the coin in and it pushes other coins at the front.
If it wasn't at a Chuck E. Cheese, I didn't play it.
He was a rat then.
And god damn it, we loved him for it.
Randy, did you ever play Twisted Metal?
I played a little bit of it. It's a PS1 game, so I think I played it on a friend's PS1. It's fun. It's a you drive around shooting people with your car. It's super fun. It is a weird one to make a show about.
Well, the show
it feels like knowing that Mattel's making Hot Wheels as a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's how this feels. It feels like the Battleship of TV shows. Like what plot? I mean, I get it's gonna have cool vehicle designs, but what story?
Well, that's to be the only thing is that it's based off of a tournament. This derby tournament in the video games, and the show doesn't really do that up until it sets it up for the season 2. That's what it's going to be about. And season 1 is about setting up the world of like the post-apocalypse. The world went to shit in 2002, which explains why all the references are fucking. They go to a theater and it's playing Master of Disguise, in Blank Man of all things, and they play it more seriously. Like Anthony Mackie's character is a runner, like a milkman. They call him milkman. Runs supplies from one city to the other in these walled cities, and there's an inside and outside people like fucking fend for themselves. And the inside people run shit, which seems to be pseudo dictatory, depending on what city you're in, which is not what the game. Like the games are, they're pretty weird. Like they make deals with the fucking demons. Like I think Calypso in the games is a demon that will literally grant you a wish, like a magical wish.
Right. They definitely toned down the weirdness, and this show's weird enough, but they toned down the weirdness.
Mm-hmm. All that weirdness got left with Sweet Tooth, I think, as a character.
Yeah, it tones it down to a Fast and Furious level of magic.
Yeah, it's the level of, I think when me and Les were watching it, we were like, this is the level of post-apocalypse Mad Max-ish that the tone you want to set of like, if you don't think about this too hard, because it really won't make sense. So like, let's just.
Like, how does this supply chain work? Why do they only have certain? Why is he giving them puppy chow? Like the things they have and don't have. It's just one of those like, no, don't think about it too much.
Yeah,
and I feel like they butter on enough straight up silliness to let me know that's the tone they're going for. This is a hyper violent Doctor Who. Like this is science fantasy. This is not science fiction.
Yeah.
Like the car physics basically works, but don't think too hard about how the silo works. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I am not feeling the show as much as everybody else. I love Stephanie Beatriz, and I think Thomas Hayden Church doing really. I think the heart of the problem for me is Anthony Mackie.
Really?
I made the mistake at one point of watching a behind the scenes on Anthony Mackie from like Winter Soldier, like before he had become Anthony Mackie. He was just the guy who played the Falcon, and he was so arrogant and so cocky. I found it kind of charming, but also kind of off-putting. And all of that is on display here, where he is the lead,
Oh,
and he thinks he's the most hilarious guy in the world. And I'm like, dude, I don't think you're funny.
I think that was really working for me, is that his bravado and Deadpoolishness is kind of a put on that he does to kind of deal with.
He's just a really lonely kid
because
basically.
what they offer him, why he's doing all this, is for a chance to live like a normal life inside.
Yeah, they've alluded to that in the 4 episodes I've watched, but I haven't seen enough of it where I've made that turn, I guess.
Oh, I don't think they really ever really sell it more than I used to have. Like, I can't even remember my family. My first memory is waking up inside a car with the
Right.
fucking world gone to shit.
Yeah.
And part of that, I think, is from him being young, and I think he also had a head injury. But
Yeah, there's a point later where Stephanie Beatrice clearly remembers a bunch of stuff and is just like, you don't know what
a pizza is?
you know. Yeah.
Well, it's like
Just all sorts of shit.
a big wheel of cheese and like bread. Oh shit, I want that.
But he says something of like she's like, well, who taught you how to drive? He's like, you don't have to. What do you mean taught how to drive? You just
know how to drive.
People just know how to drive.
Like he's
Yeah.
And she's like,
no, people don't
babies
just know how to drive.
Know how to drive. And it's the
Yeah.
they eventually get to it that yeah, he had a head injury and wakes up in his car in a wreck as an 8-year-old.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
having driven straight out of the city as things went to shit.
I'm gonna finish it out, but I'm not as in love. There's some stuff that's worked for me. Thomas Hayden Church's whole episode where they showed how he went from this insecure rent-a-cop to this fascist thug, like that all works for me. Them as bad guys is really working for me.
You should definitely at least catch Jason Mantzoukas as Priest.
I knew he was coming. I knew Jason Mantzoukas was coming. And then I liked the truck convoy thing. I thought that was a neat idea.
Yeah, the truck convoy is really
a cool thing.
And a lot of they get away with a lot of stuff of so this season isn't about car carnage. There's not a whole lot of car fighting, which I thought because and a lot of people seem to be really into the show, which I liked it because I liked all the character stuff that Anthony
I was
Mackie,
afraid that would be
I thought that would be the sticking point
that'd be the break.
of that. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of car combat up until the last episode.
Well, I mean, it is a little weird because it is kind of like doing just like the Mortal Kombat movie they did, where there was no Mortal Kombat.
Yes. I was just saying that, except for that movie has horrible characters, and I actually I think your mileage will vary because I really like Stephanie Beatrice's character as Quiet, and her brother, who is in the credits as Loud, which is hilarious. And her and Anthony Mackie really have a great chemistry of not even just like a romantic chemistry, but like reluctant partners. How one of them's take on the world is to be like, they both deal with this apocalyptic world they live in, with one's deal is to be cynical, treat everything like a threat. And the one of them is like, hey, just treat every day like it's your last, like just have fun with it.
Yeah. Anthony Mackie thinks everything's neat. Like super cool.
There's a whole episode in the ball pit. They use a ball pit. They use a ball pit in a way I've never seen another show use in terms of relationship and intimacy, and it's interesting to say the least. But I think the star of the show for me is Sweet Tooth. So Will Arnett provides the voice of Sweet Tooth, and the body actor is, God damn it, what was his name, Les?
Samoa Joe.
What was it?
So Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. God, that's an awesome. He could enter the fucking Twisted Metal race with that name. That's just a great name.
I saw the one of the first things I saw at Twisted Metal after the trailer was the extended fight scene, or sort of fight scene, with Anthony Mackie and Sweet Tooth in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought all the jokes fell flat, and I was like, oh, this doesn't look great. And then when I saw the episode with him and I saw the whole context, it was better, but I still didn't quite love Sweet Tooth. But he just turned up again in episode 4 and has a really memorable 5-minute moment. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you guys are talking about. I just haven't seen most of it yet.
Yeah, he has they really like what the movie Nope has the B story with the kid actor, right? And what that movie tries to do, like, where it just doesn't really fit. It's basically like this show kind of nails as far as what should you do with a story like that, and how should it inform a character. And Harold the paper bag, that is his best friend, is a running gag that keeps going in the background. That I know you probably haven't seen it, but it took me a second watch for when I was watching it with Les, and I was like, he sits Harold down in a chair to watch the performance with a full mimosa or whatever
for his show,
for a full pina colada or whatever it is. And then at the end of the show, when they're clapping, the drink is empty and the straw isn't unmoved. They're like moving around to like.
At one point, he leaves a bunch of people that he's got hostage.
Yeah.
And he's like, Harold, you're in charge.
Leaves
and it's
a gun
bag next
with
to a loaded gun
with the paper bag. It comes out, everyone's dead, and his first response is, Harold, why did you kill everyone?
Yeah.
Okay,
which is not what
right.
happened, but like, yeah, it's just weird.
It's really weird.
He, God damn it! At one point, he looks over and like, Harold, you take the wheel, and gets up and
Gets
moves
up,
out of the fucking.
moves out of the thing, puts Harold in the seat.
Yeah, like sits like a bag that's clearly got like a brick or something. It's so weird. Yeah, Sweet Tooth really worked for me. I genuinely expected him to just be kind of a grunting brute. And I was so happy when it was like Will Arnett just kind of talking an endless but different than Ryan Reynolds run of shit, which was fun. But really the make or break, I think, is whether or not you find Anthony Mackie's Milkman to be charming, running his mouth, or annoying.
Yeah,
like,
and it's annoying
like,
me, so we'll see.
Yeah, and like I don't know that'll get. Because that's 100%, I think.
Yeah, I would definitely, I guess, don't watch that behind the scenes with the Winter Soldier or whatever, because that must have informed. Like, I don't find a problem with his performance at all. I feel like that's just his character.
I think
how he deals with stuff.
My only behind the scenes like knowledge about Anthony Mackie comes from reading some interview about working on a Benson Moorhead movie, and it was an interview with Benson and Moorhead about how they really have no idea how Marvel, like why they got to direct a Moon Knight or so much of Moon Knight, but that they finally pieced together that they had Anthony Mackie in one of their movies, and like a few months later, Marvel reaches out to them, and that like, shit, like Mackie had to have name dropped us, and so like it at least gave him like, that's not actually direct experience ever seeing him behind the scenes, but like it gave me an impression of just the opposite, and that really might have been all it took to like make some of these hit a different way.
I get that.
Combat is a little light, but they try and make up for it by everything being a car themed. Like they go to the DMV in the Dam episode, the convoy they work with, I'm surprised the movie theater they don't hang out with isn't in a drive-in theater, but yeah, the setup is really good for season 2 when Neve Campbell reveals her whole like evil plan, because we didn't talk about her, but her like immediately couldn't even stand to hold the baby for an extra. Get this fucking thing away from me.
2 minutes. Yeah, she is very much a terrible person. I don't know what's happened, but I can tell that. Yeah.
She had dumps like a truck. That's like what? All night long.
Let me see that thong.
Like it when the beat go.
Da-da-da-da.
Baby, let your booty go.
Da-da-da-da.
Girl, I know you want to show.
Da-da-da-da.
The thong. Do you love the silver-haired god?
So yeah, let's talk about our side dish. Let's talk about Lioness. Sorry, Special Ops
Lioness.
Lioness.
Because apparently this is gonna be the start of a Special Ops like fucking series of shows. Is that?
No, I think
No.
I think they just literally they didn't realize someone else already had a show called Lioness.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it got tacked on because there's already a Lioness. It sounds like.
I think Paramount Plus was like, oh shit, sorry. So this is another Taylor Sheridan show, and what I've discovered now, having watched like 4 of them, Mayor of Kingstown, 1883,
Tulsa King. Yeah.
Is that I really like the way this dude writes, and I really worry that he is programming me with right-wing bullshit.
I know, man.
Because this show is, I thought this show was very well written, very, very entertaining. The characters are good. It looks really good. It reminds me of like what I liked about some of the Tom Clancy movies. And at the same time, it's such rah-rah pro-military America is great bullshit that I'm like, man, I don't know how I like this. I just do.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the same feeling I have about all 80s action movies. Like, there's no way that this is a great message, but also super fun. And damn it, if he doesn't know how to put that formula together.
and I think he keeps it.
Really does.
I think at least the subtext is enough that it's not directly in your face noticeable, so that it can go down easier. Because I think any military movie or military show you're going to make like this is gonna be she joined the military to escape an abusive boyfriend, and the military want to like, hey, I'm guarantee you that's how the military promote themselves and how they think of themselves as the strong protecting the weak, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
I saw an article specifically mention that scene, and I was like, but I know some Marines. That's exactly how they think of it.
Yeah, it's like man, this is true. Like I if that happened, that is how that would go down, and I believe that.
But also, that's how you would want them. That's how you would want the military to see themselves, right?
Yeah.
That would be at least to. That's the ideology you at least want them to pretend to have. Like, Jesus.
Yes, that's the thing. You want them to think that. The problem is when it's not like that, and they still think that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah.
It's whether they're the Justice League or the boys, you know.
Yeah, I did think it is it's almost cartoonishly funny. It feels real, but there's a bit where she's being recruited in. Our lead character, whose name I've forgotten,
Layla de Altavera plays Cruz.
Cruz. Where the guy comes to Saldana's character, Zoe Saldana's character, who's like the operator who's recruiting her, and he's like, she's like, no, she's tested really well on the men's scale. And I'm like, oh my god, guys,
that's the second time they mention it too, which is
it is. Yeah. She's like, I want to be in the men's line.
The first time they mentioned it, I was like, oh, well, they mentioned like you've done something no woman has done, and by the men's scale, few men have done. So like, I think in that scene, I was like, okay, they're just trying to say that physically
they're trying.
She's impressive.
And that's actually
standard.
time number 2 in that scene.
Yeah.
So the time when they mentioned Zoe Saldana is the third time that they brought it up. Like,
and it's kind of hilarious. I get what they're doing, but it's hilarious.
But I also get that, like, I get that they do want to show that, like, it's not just muscle. Like, there's, you know, when he says it in the scene of, you know, we don't have any women applicants who've done this and very few men. I like that kind of informs the character in terms of it's not just bulk or muscle.
Yeah,
there's some grit or
and she's smart
going in you or
also,
some shit.
That Nicole Kidman, who is she at the CIA? I think.
Yeah, she's a level above Zoe Saldana. It's like,
so when she's having lunch with Saldana and they're trying to talk about recruiting a new asset, and Saldana pitches this girl, and she's like, we don't need door kickers, because she's a Marine Force recon. And she's like, we don't need door kickers. She's like, no, she's got more.
She's got a brain. She's that they tested her on because what I really liked, the opening of the show was very good as far as establishing the stakes.
Oh yeah.
I really meant to just show Nick the opening just to show how Saldana being cold and a couple of things I've never seen in a military thing before. That strike, that decision moment was incredibly well done. But we ended up watching the entire pilot again.
Yeah. And that opening is so key because they're establishing that why she is so hard on her new recruit.
Yeah, because
she's traumatized.
She got burned
by
her previous asset that she trusted, and they had to go through a couple meetings of explaining why a op went bad because of a tattoo that should have got caught by somebody.
Yeah, and I love it's a running thing that Cruz. She basically has Cruz strip down and show her that she doesn't have any tattoos.
Yeah,
which is not regulation, but now she is.
Well, now she's
like, I can't take your.
Even the CIA guy was like,
can't explain that.
Well, regulation doesn't like. Fuck, you were quoting regulation to me. I'm sorry. Do we not work for the CIA or what?
Yeah,
like,
but I love that Cruz is just like thinks she's a perv.
Right. Cruz thinks Saldana's just some kind
perspective,
of weirdo.
like, why is the boss such a weirdo? Like,
why does she want to see me naked so much?
And it's so because Zoe Saldana, like, is really treating her hostile. Like, you are not my fucking friend. Like,
Hostile shit, Nick. You haven't seen Hostile.
Oh, so no. Nick hasn't seen it like too.
Because I went to Les. I was like, geez, she's being a real bitch. And then Les is like, oh, you haven't seen Up 2 yet. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad. Yeah.
Saldana is a CIA agent who runs a team of women operatives who specifically get close to daughters, wives, women in the lives of high value targets.
Yeah.
What they do is already kind of
orgs. It is cold and creepy. And she even looks at Yeah, she looks at Cruz immediately and is like, if that sounds too gray area or immoral for you,
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
I'll walk away.
Yeah.
And so like that's the setup and like the kind of the stakes that are going.
What's her response? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what the guy told her. Like, I cheated. I used a frying pan. Which, I really like the actress. She was in the Tall Grass, the Netflix Joe Hill thing. I got to interview her.
Yeah.
Fantastic best for that.
Yeah, this is her show more so than Zoe Saldana's getting to do some stuff, but this is her show.
Yeah. I definitely 10 years ago, Zoe Saldana would have been in the role.
Yeah.
And like this would have been her. Like she actually was. Like this is basically like Columbiana or something like
I
that.
heard Sheridan wrote this for Saldana, and that Saldana said she wanted to take the role specifically because she wanted to play such a like tamped down, cold, trying to survive the things that you've had to do.
It's very different than the role she's played, and I think it shows her a little more range.
Well, like, that's why establishing the stakes with the previous asset is so important. Of like why it informs the show going forward. Of like, hey, show what happened to the previous person, and I like that they were up to the whole team was ready to go on. Like, hey, I'm not going to say it's impossible, like, but we'll go in and go get her.
We'll try it.
We're going to try it up until she heard her get captured, and then she's on the phone with somebody else trying to get clearance. She's like, never mind, I know what to do. And fucking
it's like it's not gonna happen. They're just gonna get
calls in
killed.
that strike, and it explains her reasoning later of like, no, she's gone, and straight up tells Cruz later of like, so I want to know the person that's responsible for coming to rescue me if I get blown. If you get blown, there is no rescue. You rescue yourselves, and then maybe we come get you.
Yeah. I also think that the stuff they're doing with Saldana and her husband, I can't remember if that's in episode 1 or episode 2.
It's in episode 1. I've seen a little bit of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bit with him like having to tell, I've never seen this on a medical show, which I'm kind of surprised by, having to tell these parents.
That might be in episode 2.
Is it? Okay. Because there's a bit where he has to like tell these parents a thing that like, I'm like, oh shit, that is the harshest thing I've ever, and I know it happens, but I've never seen a doctor have to do that. And it was like, oh, so he's got a high pressure job in a very different way. And that's why their marriage works the way it does.
Oh, so he's like a surgeon or?
He's a pediatric surgeon.
Oh, he's a pediatric. Yeah. Oh boy, that news is real bad then.
In the second episode, while Saldana's taking a quote unquote training thing way the fuck too far.
Way too far.
With Cruz. To the point that the other military people are like, what in the fuck?
The episode is just called The Beating.
And two things happen out of that. One is that you see the military guys go after the other military guys, which I fucking loved that bit.
Yeah, that's amazing.
She almost, I don't know if this might be episode 3. She almost blows the operation because of damage done to her during that.
I think that's in 3. I haven't watched 3 yet.
Yeah.
But in 2, at the same time, Saldana's daughter, I think, gets in trouble in school.
Yes.
And the dad is also had to like deliver just horrible,
really awful news. Yeah.
I liked how casual they were when he
punched in the face about it.
When she comes in and it's like, have you been seeing anyone? And like they kind of like have.
Yeah, they both like a little bit because they're separate. Like he doesn't even know where she is half the time.
Right.
Yeah. When the kid says, "I hate it when we don't say that," and like, oh man, that's been said before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm digging it so far. I get that. I mean, if it's not your brand of show, it's not going to be your brand of show. Don't watch Law and Order.
There is a level of I can't. Sometimes I do notice it. Like Tulsa King, there's that weird rant about fucking trans or something.
There's always
a little bit of something every once in a while that you can kind of go, hey, wait a sec, but
honestly, it falls below David Mamet for me, which is great.
Oh, for sure. Well, I'll say this also. Like, there are a few military shows. I've never watched Navy SEALs or any of those. This is a higher caliber of spy show and military show, and it's better than Jack Ryan. It's doing very similar things to what Jack Ryan does, and it's better than Jack Ryan. The third episode, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys too much, but there is a big military set piece that takes place on U.S. soil with her special ops team, which are a bunch of just like the kind of special ops guys you don't want to meet these guys in the bar because they're drunk and they're probably going to try and
it's very losers energy, and they establish it so quick.
They show these guys that are like so fucked up drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Like that. Well, it's either like, okay, it's either you never drink, which I'm never going to convince you monsters to do that.
or you go into operation sometimes a little bit
or
buzzed.
you go
Yeah.
or you drink so much that you can operate with a hangover or operate silently, but like Jesus.
But the sequence is one of those like, oh shit, that's right. People give Sheridan money to do things. It's a really spectacular action sequence, and it shows how good these guys are at their job, even when they shouldn't be doing this on U.S. soil.
Yikes.
Definitely
I look
worth a
forward to
watch.
seeing it.
Yeah, it's really good.
I was
I'm
I was going to say,
surprised
like,
by
they're
this show.
a CIA team. They should not be doing anything on
No,
US.
anything.
no, they should not. They should not. This is they're 3 episodes in, and as I've watched this, I was like, man, if they had dropped all of this, I would have watched all of it. This definitely grabbed my attention.
Yeah, after the first episode, I looked up a couple of reviews of it and saw just how much the first few reviews out the gate didn't seem to like it.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, even the ones that were being that I googled that were being nice about that didn't seem to be mad at a military show for being about the military, seemed to think it was a confusing mess that like Sheridan's misfire, and I was like,
man, I think
the
this
first
is
episode grabbed me, and this is not my brand of show, so I feel like
Yeah.
he did that really well. Jack Ryan didn't grab me like this.
yeah. No, I feel like this is working.
No, I think you got to give him props
yeah.
as far as definitely an engaging story structure, if not just. I
Yeah.
feel like the actors he gets also help out. He's what otherwise might come off
Mhm.
as stale characters, like Zoe Saldana
Yeah.
and Jeremy Renner in Kingstown. I'm like, I wonder if your character would be as engaging to me if you were played by a even slightly less caliber of an actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah. I will say I wish Nicole Kidman, and maybe as it goes on, she'll get more to do, but she's basically a cameo at this point.
Oh, okay.
And so
Just
I would
fine.
like her to get more to do.
I feel like she's had some work done on her lips or something, and it looks like they've CG'd her face.
I love that, like, Les is like they've done something to her lips to where now she in real life has an uncanny valley.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't want to age. She can definitely tell she does not like aging, just like her former husband. But also, I will
Well,
say,
she
I came
didn't
to this
steal
show
the
with
fucking solution or whatever he does. Fucking
My God, Scientology works, I guess. I don't know.
I came into this with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder about like the pro-military aspect of it. I just wasn't
I'm kidding.
super
Scientology
excited
doesn't
about.
work.
I wasn't super excited about it, and I was like, "Well, I'll watch it, but I don't think it's going to grab me." And it totally grabbed me. So, yeah, I think that's an argument in its favor.
Yeah, by the end of Ep 2, I looked over at Lisa and was like, "Well, the reviews weren't great." She's just like, "I'm digging it." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
me too," and I did
Yeah.
not expect to.
Me neither. I'm digging it. It's going to go on my watch. All right, let's talk about the return of Harley Quinn.
woo.
Which, man, you want to talk about still firing on all cylinders? I actually
My
think
God,
this is, and I liked the last season, but I felt like there was not enough King Shark and maybe not enough Bane. And this season,
Oh,
it's
boy.
like they've
I was totally
corrected for
unprepared
that.
for the King Shark thing, and
Oh,
bringing
I'm
Bane
gonna
back
need
with
to
the
get a
pasta
job.
maker. Oh,
Also, Poison Ivy running the Legion of Doom and finding out that nobody respects her.
Well, yeah, you are a dumb. I don't hate the bottoms, but the boss bottoms. I really want her to
Yeah.
wear the bottoms in a later episode. Like that just say boss on them. But yeah, her hooking up with the Legion of Doom and basically
Yeah.
asserting like
willing
spending an
to do
episode
eco
to
crime.
Yeah.
spending an episode trying to appease them, and then finally just going like, "Fuck you, I'm powerful, and we're doing the thing I want to do." But
Yeah,
I just blew
yeah.
up the oil rig.
I'll-
Or get a mop. Oh, so blow up your stupid mop.
I like that. I like the interplay of like Harley's now on the Bat team. She is running Legion of Doom, and they have to put up a firewall between their professional lives.
Yeah.
The bit where they go to Vegas,
Oh my
And-
god, Hargrit.
Hargrit, and yeah,
Oh,
she had
man.
developed a secret identity.
Dude, I
And
love
also-
that she's talking to her alter ego in the mirror, talking about making
Yes.
an alter ego.
Yes.
And she's like,
Yep.
nah, your nerdy ass ain't coming out. What? No, don't leave me in the mirror, you bitch.
You already have one, thankfully. You're
Uh,
making another one.
Clayface having a residency in Las Vegas. That's so brilliant.
Yes.
It works so
Yes,
well.
he's a diva.
Gaga,
Clayface.
I got your flowers. How did you know I was a gladiola girl?
The addition of Talia al Ghul
Yes.
as
Yes.
like a mentor boss bitch is great.
Her running Wayne Industries.
Yes.
Because
is
of the
amazing. And then,
conservatorship
of
that he
course-
signed over to
Yes.
Talia.
Yes. Yeah.
And that, of course, like as soon as Talia takes over the league and like the modern era, there's immediately like shit on the market clearly made from Lazarus Pit.
Yeah. And also, I love Wayne's story. He's in jail for starting a zombie apocalypse, and Alfred being jealous of his jail butler.
His penal
to the
butler.
point that he robs a bank.
Oh my god, episode 2 is Alfred's episode of like he teaches Harley to bitch. Like
Yep.
I wish a bitch would.
I think Les turned to me is like, is that the best thing Alfred has ever said in any continuity?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And yeah,
fantastic.
His whole episode of teaching Harley how to like deal with the Bat family, only for him to like get arrested so he can go be with Bruce, only to realize no, that's Blackgate's for rich people. You're going to Arkham Correctional Rehabilitation Center.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's going to be. I'm sure they'll get a lot out of that. Also, Nightwing's butt has been a topic of conversation for the longest time, and I love these guys take the subtext and make it text. That's just like what they did with Batman not going down on Catwoman.
That's exactly when the butt thing happened. I was like, this is the doesn't he?
I'm ready to show Gotham my juicy caboosey.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Like
this whole return was great.
Like killing Professor Pig.
Oh my god.
They're like you're not supposed to kill him.
Well, if one of you had told me that, just there's just crochet.
It's been in a ton of emails. There's a lot
Ted
of
the talkative tilapia.
Yeah, he's like, and then they're like, oh yeah, I guess that's on me. I didn't see all
I guess it's one of those things that you don't see it until someone points it out, and then you cannot see it. Should have started with the fish. So now it's really in my head.
That was in my head.
Oh man.
Yeah, this show is so good. I am not a guy who likes my superheroes made fun of that much, like in general, but somehow DC, who not know how to make a serious fucking superhero movie to save their life, have figured out the way to make.
Actually, thank God, because otherwise, like Harley Quinn would lose half of its material.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I guess that's right. That's true. But like Harley Quinn and Peacemaker could not be up my alley, but they absolutely both are.
Yeah. And meanwhile, when DC sets out to make a serious movie, like they overshoot it by 1,000%.
Yeah, and it's funny accidentally.
Yeah, like I don't know. I love. I'm missing Bane's girlfriend from the Valentine's Day special, and I feel like
I'm sure we'll see her again.
That like hopefully that comes back around.
I think I'm fucking several buildings down.
Nora Frost is giving me very much Cheryl from Archer energy as Poison Ivy's new secretary.
Yeah, I get that.
and of course Snowflame, or what's his name?
The cocaine.
Yeah, I had to pause. I had to pause that and tell Nick that guy's real. I mean, like it's Harley Quinn. Like that's going to just be an obscure character. But I had sometime last year seen a list of dumb characters.
I thought the whole episode was going to be about it, but it's just a background gag that Starro is running the hotel in Vegas. So like it's definitely. So I turned to Les. I'm like, well, it's definitely a 5-star hotel.
Oh no!
Well, I love that. Like, if you accidentally kick one or a dick or something, it just jumps on the nearest guest and then beats your ass,
slices your throat. And they were running fights, and I think Ragdoll fought some other fucking D-lister.
Ragdoll and
Dollman. And then it was Bouncing Boy popped, and I was like, "No, Bouncing Boy!" I know I'm the only one. Like I was like, "No, Bouncing Boy." I love you. He's one of my, like, when you talk about a character that like, no, not him. Randy is like, that Bouncing Boy's mine of like, no one else like gives a shit, but I do.
Chuck Tam.
Don't kill him. But yeah, the King Shark and his whole Shark Baby storyline is allowing him to be in more of the.
Yeah, that's great.
The show. I'm kind of missing because they're getting the crew in there, even though they don't really have a crew per se.
Right.
Because Harley's with the Bat Fam now.
Right, but they're all still there, and they're all still interacting. More so, I mean, we're seeing more King Shark this season than we saw last.
Yeah, because he's working IT in Legion of Doom.
Yeah. It's great. I'm greatly enjoying it, and I'm glad it's back. All right, let's have dessert, y'all. We got 3 desserts, and let's stick on this DC animation tip and talk about My Adventures with Superman, where again they're following the Mike Schur story, the Mike Schur path of just tell your goddamn story.
You will believe a man can lie is the
We talked about this last week, like what direction they were going to go with this, and they kind of did a little of both. I was like, she's going to be super pissed at him, and you guys were like, she's going to give him the chance, and they did a little bit of both. Like she did give him a chance, but she was super pissed at him.
Yeah, she gave him a chance throughout the whole episode, and really up until the end of like, okay, I can't really do this anymore. Like, are we? And then does the lowest move of just
the lowest move. Yep.
I will die on this hill. Like I will jump off this building and prove you are Superman, motherfucker.
I loved that.
Yep, me too. I love that he catches her and doesn't change costume. Like he's there.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the rest of the episode was also pretty even lore droppy because they Slade makes his first official appearance with a suit. And how they've done it is that they've been reclaiming the tech that they lost from these criminals, and because they needed to up his suit. So all the different things they've seen so far, like the ice stuff, and super strength and speed that the other villains had individually from their gadgets, Slade now has as a full mech suit or something.
But I also think that might mean he has the
parasite.
Rage, impulse control, parasite armor issues, which could be which would be a great way
to
Mirakuru, like to trip him over.
Because he's still of sound mind and body, because they could call him off during the strike this time, and having and then even Clark mentions there's something familiar about the tech, and I'm like, I knew it. I knew this was fucking lost Kryptonian technology that they're re-engineering.
Yeah,
it's going to be something like his ship.
Yeah. They've run into Kryptonians before and know that an attack is coming, and they're retrofitting Kryptonian tech. And great excuse for why all the tech works against Superman. Why they have a hate boner for Superman going forward. Obviously, Amanda Waller is not completely in charge yet because the what's his name? The general.
General Wade Eiling.
Yep. Eiling is basically like tells it like, hey, whoa, there's a fucking building. There's a bridge of people that are about to die. Let's call off the attack. And Amanda Waller's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I say we got a clear shot as he's holding up that. I swear to God, like Amanda Waller is like, we cannot. She's like, what? He's holding up that orphanage. He's a sitting duck.
Yeah.
Now it's the perfect time to hit him.
They've definitely Waller in the comics used to be sort of she was a hard ass, but she wasn't like a sociopathic monster. And they have definitely steered right into sociopathic monster in pretty much everything they've done.
I think the Suicide Squad movie really cemented that as far as
like, oh, she's terrible.
Well, even in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, they made her like very. Obviously, they didn't really kill people in the cartoon, but she was fucking hard on that one.
She was much more hardcore. And I think they kept steering that direction. I think the live action did a lot of damage in terms of like making her more of a villain than a anti-hero, which I think is a shame, but it works here.
I kind of like her as a badass, as the woman you don't fuck with of like
I get it. The nuanced Amanda Waller from John Ostrander's Suicide Squad is one of my favorite characters, and so it is a shame to see a character made a little less interesting every time I've seen her. And I've loved her. Like CCH Pounder played her, Viola Davis played her. Like they've done right by her casting wise.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like nobody quite gets the way a Waller is supposed to work.
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't think there's enough material. Well, I mean, I suppose there's the comics or whatever, but there's a lot of material to draw from her is not.
Yeah.
Like
no, this is the thing where it's like this is where she is now, and I don't think it's ever going back. Like that is going to be her role going forward. So
right.
I just gotta
works
get on
good for some characters and not like for Peacemaker. Now he's that.
Yeah.
Peacemaker is now the TV version of him, and that is what Peacemaker will be going forward.
In fact, there is currently a Peacemaker comic called Peacemaker Tries Hard that is fucking hilarious. It is great. As good as the show. He has a little pug dog. He's named Bruce Wayne. Just to give a little bit away this issue that came out this week. He calls Amanda Waller up, and his dog has been kidnapped by supervillains.
Oh no!
And he tells Amanda Waller Bruce Wayne's been kidnapped. and she goes full code red. She's like, Bruce Wayne's been kidnapped. Let's call in Task Force X. And he's like, oh wow. He's like, honestly, I didn't think you would take me this seriously. I feel a lot better about this now. He's like, I didn't think you'd care about my dog. She's like, you're what? And then you see her, and her hand is like hovering over the button that blows up his implant, and she's like, it's fantastic. It is as good as the show, and I love, and that is only because the show made that character. Like sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Like because now you're reading that and hearing it in the show.
John Cena's voice.
100%. 100%. Yes.
Don't kill, no killing, don't kill, no killing.
Song stick in this old bean. You should have started with the fish.
All right, so let's jump past DC animation and let's talk about the After Party, which does a heist episode. Y'all know how I like heists.
Oh shit!
This was a ton of fun and turned a whole bunch of shit on its head.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Is that this, like, plot wise, this is a bigger episode of, like, this one really, like, sets home, like, Edgar's a fucking kind of a cold shark.
Edgar's
like,
a
he's
dick.
a real dick.
Or is he? Because that is the only time we've seen him that way. And we have 8 unreliable narrators in this show.
But he did say that he's like that during at business, right?
Yeah,
as a business,
maybe.
But it sounds like he doesn't respect Sebastian at all, right? Like,
yeah, but that's how Sebastian saw it. So I'm curious to see how that plays out later.
Honestly, it makes, like, Sebastian knowing that the fucking British accent is a put on makes me immediately like him.
Same,
like,
the crystal and metal coin Connect Four set.
Yes,
oh man,
was amazing. When I realized he was going to break out like a crystal chess set, but for Connect Four,
you had to specifically ask someone to make a Connect Four. Like, what was the fucking, like? Who do you go to make a crystal set?
Oh, I've got a Connect Four guy.
I got a fucking Battleship get board game made out of emerald and rubies. Like,
I thought they did a great job of, like, every episode they do a different style, and every episode they nail it. Like, there's some direct Ocean's 11 references in here.
Oh man, the way from the start.
I'm gonna be the dumbest Ellis Fitzgerald ever, or like whatever they said. Like, I'm like, that's a direct riff. Yeah. Judson and Jackson. Oh, and then they go past Ben Schwartz in the jail.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love seeing him again. Yes.
Just amazing.
These bars can't hold these bars.
So what you understand is that these bars that I'm sitting in can't.
The jail bars.
I am your lawyer.
These bars, the song I'm singing to. Thank you. Yeah. For a second, I thought he was going to be somehow recruited into this.
I know, me too. And then the show has the confidence to walk right past him.
He just walks past him.
When I realized he was going to stroll past him, I was like, that's even better.
That's even better. Good for you. Good for you.
And then, of course, it's Judson and Jackson.
Jensen and Jackson. My cousin and his brother. His other.
We saw them, right?
The dipshit waiters and
the DJ.
And they're there. I mean, as soon as they were on screen, it was like,
I've seen you.
Yeah. It made me want to rewatch the show.
These last 2 episodes have already made me want to go back and rewatch.
Again, like,
I love that him walking into the yurt is exactly as it was said.
That was one that was, again, exactly how it was said. Of like, oh nope, I just needed to be in with somebody in the so.
It's just you and a drink. No, okay.
Although I am interested in where that katana comes from when he's going with the mom.
Right.
Like, what the.
Yes. Yeah. Why do you have a katana?
It comes out of nowhere. I was like, he's not telling that part of the story right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also the reveal at the end that Grace didn't tell.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Didn't tell the whole truth.
That was a great way to leave it off, because I told him about us, but not everything. And Grace does the hair, which makes her look like, goddamn, Grace looks so guilty.
Yeah. Well, and also we've got that there's clearly something going on with Elizabeth Perkins' character. There's clearly something going on with the uncle, and there's clearly something going on with the mom, with Grace's mom. So I'm like, oh, we got all kinds of new shit.
I think Perkins is going to be the wax strip, I think, from the opening credits.
Yeah, I think you may be right. And plus, the next episode is going to be about Tiffany Haddish telling her Mind movie, which is going to be a blast.
I cannot wait.
So.
Yes.
Oh my god. I cannot wait to have a 90s action cop thriller with Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah.
I love this show so much.
This show is great, and this is one of those I was worried like this might be a one season thing. Like I didn't know if they could do another season. Just like Only Murders. And I'm like, no, you guys have it. You can do, more of this.
This is really what I want out of any Soderbergh crime show.
Yes, yeah,
just make these.
Yeah, instead of the boring thing you made.
Right, quit being serious about it. Be silly, be goofy, be zany.
Yeah,
make it
exactly.
But except that, like, it's so weird that
make Logan lucky again.
But the mystery is compelling. Of every time we get a new piece of information, I'm so invested. Of like the puzzle pieces falling together. Like when the one of the cousins says, I'm not making it throughout the night without thumping somebody, and I'm like, fuck, that's how he gets hit. That's how fucking Stingray gets hit.
Yeah.
Like I'm already lining up the night in my mind of like, okay, that all right.
Yeah, it's great. All right, our final dessert of the night is Justified City Primeval, which I think finally hooked me with this latest episode.
I find it strange that the daughter was just there and then got sent home.
I don't. I feel like she's not.
Why is she in the show?
She's not a good enough actress to be in the show completely.
Other than just to show Raylan's got a kid and that his work is problematic for him. But if that's the case, keep her on the show and do something. It felt like they ran out of things to do and finally just like, all right, we got to shelve her for a minute.
Honestly, I think I'm glad she's gone. I think she was.
Me too, but I just really thought she'd come
if they were going to do this. Why not do it in
episode
episode
one? But
and fucking ditch
yeah. That's probably what it should. They should have opened episode 2 with her being horrified at what she'd seen and be like, "I'm going home to mom."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that was the mistake because this now that we're following Menzel and Sweetie and the lawyer and
I had 3 like laugh out loud moments at least this episode where I was like, "Holy shit,
dude!"
Yeah.
Either Waylon's lines or reactions,
Raylan is such a cowboy.
Menzel driving by and waving.
So there's a great writing-wise, a couple great decisions going forward of bringing Justified back, but realizing that the perception around police has changed since Justified first came out.
Yeah,
and so what do? You play into your strength. It's not that Raylan has changed. Show that Raylan was always a different type. He was a cowboy. Do you want to see what a actual off-the-wall cop that doesn't give a shit about anything is? That's
we've got
Brill or whatever the fuck his stupid name is.
Brill.
Is his name Brill?
His name's Brill.
When he flat out sets the Albanian mob against Menzel and
Raylan gives him the look like, what the fuck are you doing?
Looks over and is like, man,
Raylan's like, we
basically complicit in a mob hit now.
He's like, it feels like we just put a hit on our suspect.
Yeah. Can I have a moment?
Like, and he's like, yeah, but we want to get to him first and arrest him and put him in a cell so he can justify. And it puts Raylan on the side of the law and rules for a minute.
Although that said, they definitely know they've got Raylan still, because I swear I thought that Albanian was getting shot.
Yeah.
Raylan has his hand on his gun, and that Albanian looked like he was going to go for it.
Well, when he leans down to the car with the judge and has his hand on,
I love that. Like Raylan is the type of guy that you can see. I think he's said that enough to where he knows how to say the word "don't" in a way that like, no, don't do that.
Really don't.
But really don't though, because I like. And of course, Brill runs down and shoots that dude in the back 6 times. And
of course he does.
And I'm pretty sure he dropped a gun on him. Like,
oh yeah,
like there,
yeah. Brill was gonna thump somebody.
Also, having him like real easy cheat. Have him having a thing for a black lawyer.
Yeah.
And also, they have crazy chemistry.
They do. They
man,
they haven't had that many scenes together, but it's really strong.
Like, for me, I was like, okay, so you definitely can't drink that. You're not supposed to drink that right now if you're on the job, but you're letting her in that fucking car.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm hoping that they open next episode with him just coming back out to his car the next morning.
Yeah. For sure.
Like, because those two are like, and he really came to just came to tell her that the Albanians were basically like coming after Menzel, which means they might, hey, you're in that dude's orbit, which means
you might come after you. Yeah.
Are you trying to scare me? No,
the Albanians already do that.
Have scared you.
Yeah, I did like when he talks to the Albanians in their car. Though.
Oh yeah,
when he's like, now we've talked and you drive away.
Now that was some like that made me feel Justified season 1 and 2 energy of that's some cowboy shit.
Yeah, that's cowboy shit.
So this is the part where I'm finished talking and we say goodnight. And you leave.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I didn't feel bad about it because they're Albanian gangsters. We've seen how bad these guys are, so that's the trick they use.
Yeah, and also he gets to tell off like he's making a deal with the head of the mob. I love that he's the they're all cops and treating it like a regular investigation, and he's ready to treat it like a Southern feud type thing. Oh, this guy has beef with the guy I have beef with. I'll go talk to him. Yeah, that's the head of the Albanian mob, man. Like, but
yes.
I don't have a boss. Cool. So go tell the boss you don't have
that. And like you tell him that the lawyer is off limits. You tell him Raylan Givens said so, and like that's the fucking end of it. And like it really reminded me of like, yes, this is why I like Raylan, even though he's a little scary and probably shouldn't have a gun and be a cop.
Yes. And the other thing that's working for me, especially this episode, and has been from the out, Boyd Holbrook.
Oh, God, he's so good.
He's a wild man. He is dangerous as shit. Like his whole like thing to the waitress of like, no, here's what I want you to do with my steak. Yeah. And he's like, I don't care that your apartment's flooding. I'm eating my steak.
And I thought he was in on the con because he was that was just him being a dick.
It's just him being a dick. He does not care.
He does not give a shit. They're right about his level of luck. Like he has there's a way about him where things like work out in his favor. Like,
watching him drive past
that little wave, and like, even Raylan kind of smiles of like, nah, okay.
Yeah. And the bit at the end with him and Sweetie, the tension there, I'm like, I any minute there, I felt like he was going to shoot Sweetie.
Sweetie's fucked up, though.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sweetie saw dollar signs when he had that.
Yep.
Because me and Les were like, what the fuck? The lawyer's like, wait, you asked me to help you put this guy away. But it was before.
Oh, no, I rethought it now.
But it was before he got eyes on the notebook. Yeah, and it was like, God damn it, Sweetie's.
And he thinks he's going to do both.
Yes.
It's not just that he thinks, well, I'm going to throw in with Boyd and I'm going to get paid.
No, dude.
He plans to get paid and then still shut a trap on Manziel, and that's not going to happen.
No.
And it's such an Elmore Leonard.
He even says it like, I'm going to get what's coming to me. Like, you are, dude. A bullet.
Yeah,
you are. That's always a bullet.
Randy's totally right. It's such an Elmore Leonard thing of a character that you can see is fucking up.
You can watch him making
just
mistakes.
Like watching him slow motion car crash. Like, no, dude, because he has the solution. He has the murder gun. Like, and they're ready to give him like immunity on it. Like, he even thinks like, and I'm like, dude, you will never get a better deal than that. That is, you get off scot free.
You go back to your bar that was working fine for you. This crazy man goes out of your life. That is the answer. But Elmore Leonard characters, everyone in Elmore Leonard's story, or usually most of the characters, all their eyes are bigger than their stomach.
Yes.
They're always aiming for something they shouldn't be. It's so good. Yeah, I do think, and it's weird. I don't want to blame a young actress, but it does feel like Raylan's daughter leaving the show just like kick the thing into high gear. Like suddenly I care about all the characters.
Well, you realize that him having a kid kind of feels like he's half in the game.
It changed his energy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it feels like, okay, we're back to Raylan classic of I don't got nothing to lose. Like,
I think that's it. And I think I get wanting to show a different Raylan, but I don't know that I want to see a different Raylan. I want to see Raylan.
Yeah, because the thing about Raylan is that he's a guy that's confident. He's built himself up as a guy that's confident going into a fight if it's you and him, because he's trained himself to be like, if it comes down to a quick draw or a thing, like I'm securely confident I can protect myself and kill you.
Yeah.
But when you bring in other people like, Winona or Willa, like that kind of hamstrings them of like, well, then I can't get it. Like not everything can suddenly become a shootout. Now suddenly I have like something to lose. And a lot of Raylan solves a lot of problems in the earlier seasons of Justified by just pointing out that like, okay, here's how things are going to happen. If it doesn't happen this way, I will kill 3 of you before you clear your holsters, and I'll take my chances on the other 2.
Yeah.
Like he's ready to take it to the limit at any point.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait to see how Boyd Holbrook and him.
Yeah.
What's their final face-off?
Boyd runs into this Raylan and how he deals with this crazy guy.
Yeah. Well, he already met like fucking Dad Raylan, and Dad Raylan whipped his ass.
Yeah.
What's crazy Raylan gonna like? I just want to tell him like, no, man, you saw him at like at a 5, man. You don't want to see him at a 10.
All right. So that about wraps it up for us this time. Thank you, Les. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, dudes.
Thank you to our listeners, and thank you to our patrons. Reminder, you can go over to patreon.com/tvdudes and throw us that $1 an episode. Listen to us talk about, what are we talking about this time? Oh,
Talk
movies.
to me.
Talk to me. And until next time.
TV Dudes out. The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.